Hi everyone online and around the world. This is Eric Rodebois, EPGD Business Law. I know it's been months and months since I've actually done this. Every week it's on my calendar and Talia yells at me, and so I'm really sorry that I haven't been putting this out there. But I will tell you this, I get a lot of good feedback, and so hopefully I'll do something enlightening today. So the theme that I've been working on, and I think this is obviously the theme of my law firm, is it's better to have things in writing. So what I really wanted to talk about, and maybe we'll do another video after this, is how important it is whenever you hire an employee to have an employment contract. Well, this is really the same idea, just a totally different topic. So this topic is estate planning, okay? So what it basically comes down to is what is an estate plan and why do you need it? So an estate plan is a bunch of written documents that have to be done according to the law. Typically, it's according to the law where you live. So, for example, Florida has its own probate code and its own wills and trust code versus other states, New York, California. Each one's a little different. Now, typically the rule is if wherever you were when you did it right by their laws, then if you move to another state, and even if it doesn't comply with that state's laws, that state will recognize it as okay. So the basic elements of an estate plan, these written documents that you need to protect, not you, but your family. That's actually not completely true. A number of the documents do protect you, and I'll get to that in a minute. But these documents, I've actually written up here on the board in the interest of time. So the first document is a will. Now this is a good old-fashioned last will and testament, and the important elements of a will is we're going to name who our executor is. Now, we don't use the word executor anymore. We call it a personal representative because, believe it or not, executor is a Latin word which is gender male, and we have executrix for gender female. So gender neutral is personal representative. We're also going to talk about where, if we have children, who their guardian's going to be. We're going to talk about our burial instructions, and we're going to talk about where we want our stuff to go. Now, that's really the big problem because your stuff, it's typically land, bank accounts, whatever it is, your stuff might need a trust to, might need a court to transfer those documents. So that court process is called probate. And I don't care where you live, it's going to be expensive. So ballpark picture for a full estate plan, it might be somewhere between $1,500 to $5,000 depending on the complexity. A probate lawyer might ask for $3,500 to $5,000 to $7,500 as a starting retainer. Now, the probate process is taking the will and going to the court and say, hi, grandma just died, we need to transfer her house to whoever she said to go to in the will. And that court process in Miami-Dade County easily takes over a year because the courts are so backed up. By last count, they had 3 judges and 1 assistant for 3 million people. So go figure. Anyways, the actual method that we use to avoid the court is we use trust, okay? So if you retitle all your property, your houses, your vacation house, your bank accounts, if you retitle all your stuff into the name of your trust, then you skip the court. Now that's really important because the court is long, the court is expensive, and the court is public. People can go down to the court and pull other people's wills. My old boss always says in Montgomery County, Maryland, that he always sees these nefarious financial advisors poking through people's wills to see who's inheriting what. So the trust is very similar to a will, but it's a private document. You set it up, you name a trustee, you name your beneficiaries, and then hopefully, if you do it right, when grandma passes away, all of her property is already in the trust, so it can be transferred by the trustee right away. We also do an interesting document called the designation of a pre-need guardian. Now what that document does is if you ever need a guardian over yourself, like you get hit in the head or you get Alzheimer's, the process of guardianship is just as long and just as expensive, maybe not as long, but just as expensive as the process of probate. So you can actually put in writing, and that speeds up the process a lot. Now if you have children, you can do another one, and that's a designation of pre-need guardian for your children, so if they're under the age of 18. We also do a quick little document called an assignment of tangible personal property. That's when you say, hey, all my stuff, please put it in my trust. And stuff is anything that's not land or financial accounts. Your quit claim deed, which will transfer your land into your trust. A certificate of trust, this is if you're in Florida and your homestead property, you don't want to lose the homestead benefits. Well, so many people use a trust that if you do this with it, you don't lose your homestead benefits. Next, we have what I consider the most important, because in our modern science, you're more likely to be incapacitated than you are to die. So we have a living will, which is the pull the plug, a durable general power of attorney, where you name someone who can go to the bank for you, a healthcare power of attorney, where we name someone who can go talk to the doctors, And basically, you get it all in writing, you make sure that it's all properly done, and then hopefully your family is going to save a lot of time and money. Thank you. This is Eric Rodabois.